The Holiday Dilemma. Olivia Bennet stared at the elegant invitation on her desk, the gold lettering shimmering under her office lights. The annual Bennet family Christmas Eve Gala. Normally, she loved this event. Her parents threw the most beautiful holiday celebration in their Lincoln Park home every year. But this December felt different. Her phone lit up with another message from her mother. "Darling, the Hawthorns are bringing their son Mitchell. He just made partner at his law firm. Such a wonderful young man." Olivia closed her eyes and counted to 10. She was 28, ran her own successful event planning company, had just closed a deal with one of Chicago's premier hotels, and yet her mother still saw her as incomplete. Every family gathering became an awkward parade of eligible bachelors, each introduction more painful than the last. An unexpected solution. The December wind rattled the windows of her downtown office as Olivia reviewed proposals for a corporate New Year's event. She had built Bennet Events from nothing, working 16-hour days and sacrificing her personal life to make it successful. The irony was not lost on her that she planned dream weddings and romantic celebrations for others while her own love life remained non-existent. A knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Nathan Pierce walked in, carrying 2 steaming cups from the coffee shop downstairs. He worked in the same building, an architect whose firm often collaborated with her company on venue designs. They had become friends over shared late nights and mutual complaints about demanding clients. "You look like you need this," Nathan said, setting a caramel latte on her desk. His dark hair was slightly damp from the snow outside, and his gray eyes held their usual warmth. "Family drama," Olivia admitted, gesturing at her phone. "My mother is on a mission to marry me off before I turn 30. This Christmas is going to be unbearable." Nathan settled into the chair across from her, wrapping his hands around his coffee cup. "I understand completely. My family does the same thing. Every phone call ends with questions about my relationship status." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, and then Olivia had an idea so wild she almost dismissed it immediately. "Almost. What if we went together?" The words tumbled out before she could stop them. "To my family's Christmas Eve party. As a couple. A fake couple." Nathan raised an eyebrow, but he did not look shocked. Instead, he seemed intrigued. "A fake relationship to get our families off our backs?" "I know it sounds crazy," Olivia said quickly. "But think about it. We already know each other well. We have a legitimate story about how we met through work. And you mentioned your family is in Boston, so you would be alone for Christmas anyway." Building the story. Nathan was quiet, considering her proposal. Olivia held her breath, suddenly embarrassed by the suggestion. But then he smiled, that slow, thoughtful smile that made him so easy to work with. "Okay," he said simply. "Let's do it." Relief flooded through Olivia, followed quickly by nervousness. "Really? You would do this? Why not? Your family throws legendary parties, from what you have told me. And honestly, spending Christmas alone in my apartment watching old movies was not exactly appealing." Nathan pulled out his phone. "But if we are doing this, we need to make it convincing. We need a story." They spent the next hour crafting their fictional romance. They decided they had been dating for 3 months, keeping it quiet at first because they worked in the same building and wanted to keep things professional. Their first date had been at a small Italian restaurant in Wicker Park after a particularly stressful project deadline. "What do you like about me?" Nathan asked, his tone teasing but his eyes serious. Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "Your creativity, I suppose. The way you see spaces and transform them into something beautiful. And you make me laugh, even when I am stressed." "That was surprisingly genuine," Nathan said softly. "What I like about you is your passion. When you talk about an event, your whole face lights up. You care so deeply about making moments perfect for people." The compliment caught Olivia off guard. She had expected something joking, something surface level. Instead, Nathan's words felt real and thoughtful. Rehearsing romance. Over the next 3 days, they met twice more to prepare. Nathan came to her apartment, bringing Chinese takeout and a bottle of wine. They practiced how they would stand together, how to answer questions about their relationship, how to make small physical gestures seem natural. "May I?" Nathan asked, reaching for her hand as they sat on her couch going over final details. Olivia nodded, and his fingers intertwined with hers. His hand was warm and strong, and she was surprised by how right it felt. "Couples touch casually," Nathan explained. "A hand on the small of your back when we walk into a room. My arm around your shoulders during conversation. We need to seem comfortable with each other." He demonstrated, sliding closer on the couch and draping his arm around her. Olivia leaned into him, resting her head against his shoulder. They fit together perfectly, as if they had done this 1,000 times before. "This feels easy," Olivia murmured, surprised by her own words. "It does," Nathan agreed, and something in his voice made her look up. Their faces were inches apart, and for a breathless moment, Olivia thought he might kiss her. Really kiss her, not as practice but as something real. But then Nathan cleared his throat and pulled back slightly. "We should probably discuss what happens after Christmas. When do we break up?" The question felt wrong somehow, but Olivia pushed the feeling aside. "January, maybe? We can say the pressure of keeping it secret at work became too much." "Right," Nathan said. "That makes sense." As he left that night, Olivia stood at her window watching him walk to his car through the falling snow. Something had shifted between them during their rehearsals, something she could not quite name. She told herself it was just the intensity of preparing for their performance. Nothing more. But as she got ready for bed, she found herself thinking about how Nathan's hand had felt in hers, and how natural it had been to rest against him. Christmas Eve was 2 days away, and suddenly, Olivia was not sure she was prepared for what might happen when pretending became something else entirely. The Bennett estate. Christmas Eve arrived with fresh snowfall blanketing Chicago in white. Olivia stood before her bedroom mirror, adjusting the deep red velvet dress she had chosen for the evening. The color complemented her dark hair, which she had styled in soft waves. She looked elegant and confident, even if her stomach was doing nervous flips. Her phone buzzed with a text from Nathan. "Outside. Ready when you are." Olivia grabbed her coat and clutch, taking one final steadying breath before heading downstairs. When she opened the front door of her building, Nathan stood beside a sleek black car, looking devastatingly handsome in a tailored charcoal suit with a burgundy tie that somehow coordinated perfectly with her dress. "You look beautiful," he said, his voice carrying genuine admiration that made her heart skip. "You clean up pretty well yourself," Olivia replied, accepting his offered arm. As they drove through the snowy streets toward Lincoln Park, Nathan reached over and squeezed her hand. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," Olivia admitted. "What if they see right through us? What if my mother asks questions we have not prepared for?" Nathan pulled the car to a stop at a red light and turned to face her fully. "Olivia, listen to me. We are not strangers pretending to be in love. We are friends who genuinely care about each other. That part is real. Everything else is just details." His words steadied her, and she nodded. "You are right. We can do this." Entering the performance. The Bennett home glowed with thousands of tiny white lights strung through the bare tree branches in the front yard. Through the large windows, Olivia could see guests already mingling, champagne flutes in hand. The house smelled of pine, cinnamon, and her mother's signature mulled wine when they stepped inside. Catherine Bennett spotted them immediately, gliding over in a stunning emerald gown. Her eyes widened with pleasant surprise when she saw Nathan's hand resting protectively on Olivia's lower back. "Darling, you brought someone," Catherine said, her voice musical with delight. "And you did not tell me." Mom, this is Nathan Pierce. Nathan, my mother, Catherine Bennett. Olivia watched as Nathan turned on his considerable charm, shaking her mother's hand with perfect politeness. Mrs. Bennett, your home is absolutely stunning. Olivia talks about your Christmas parties constantly. The reality exceeds every description. Catherine practically beamed. Oh, I like him already. Come, you must meet everyone. James. James, come meet Olivia's young man. As her mother pulled them into the crowded living room, Olivia felt Nathan's hand slide from her back to her waist, drawing her closer. The gesture appeared protective and affectionate to observers, but Olivia felt something electric in his touch that seemed to go beyond their arrangement. Playing the part. The evening unfolded like a carefully choreographed dance. Nathan charmed her father with discussions about architectural restoration. He made her Aunt Margaret laugh with a story about a disastrous site inspection. He remembered details Olivia had mentioned about her family members and referenced them naturally in conversation. But what surprised Olivia most was how genuine it all felt. When Nathan looked at her while talking to her relatives, his eyes held a warmth that seemed impossible to fake. When he touched her arm, her shoulder, the small of her back, each contact sent shivers through her that had nothing to do with the performance. They found themselves alone for a moment on the decorated terrace overlooking the snow-covered garden. The party noise faded behind the glass doors, and the world became quiet and crystalline. You are amazing at this, Olivia said, wrapping her arms around herself against the cold. Nathan immediately shrugged off his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. Amazing at what? This. Pretending. You have my entire family convinced. Something flickered across Nathan's face, an expression Olivia could not quite read. What if I am not pretending as much as you think? Before Olivia could respond, the terrace door opened. Her cousin Jennifer appeared, slightly tipsy and grinning. There you are. Mom wants a photo of all the couples under the mistletoe. Come on, lovebirds. They were pulled back inside to where Catherine had orchestrated a romantic scene beneath an elaborate mistletoe arrangement. Several couples were already posing for pictures, laughing and kissing for the camera. The kiss that changed everything. Your turn, Catherine announced, positioning Olivia and Nathan directly under the white berries and red ribbon. Olivia's heart hammered. They had not discussed this. They had practiced hand-holding and casual touches, but not kissing. She looked up at Nathan, searching his face for guidance. He stepped closer, his hands coming to rest gently on her waist. Is this okay? He whispered, so quietly only she could hear. Olivia nodded, unable to find words. Nathan's hand moved to cup her cheek, his thumb brushing her skin with heartbreaking tenderness. Then he leaned down and kissed her. It was supposed to be simple. A brief kiss for the photo, nothing more. But the moment their lips met, something ignited between them. Nathan's hand slid into her hair, and Olivia found herself gripping the front of his shirt, pulling him closer. The kiss deepened, becoming something far more real than any performance. Applause and laughter from their audience finally broke them apart. Olivia stepped back, her cheeks flushed and her heart racing. Nathan looked equally affected, his eyes dark and intense as they held her gaze. Beautiful! Catherine exclaimed, showing them the photo on her phone. In the picture, they looked like two people completely in love, lost in each other and oblivious to the world around them. Because in that moment, Olivia realized with startling clarity, they had been an unexpected arrival. Olivia needed air. She needed space to think about what had just happened, about the way her entire body was still humming from Nathan's kiss. She excused herself to the powder room, splashing cold water on her wrists and staring at her reflection. This was supposed to be fake. Simple. A favor between friends to get through a difficult holiday. But nothing about how she felt right now was simple. Nothing about the way Nathan had looked at her, kissed her, touched her felt remotely fake. When she returned to the party, she found Nathan surrounded by a group of her relatives near the Christmas tree. He was laughing at something her uncle said, completely at ease. Olivia's chest tightened with an emotion she was afraid to name. Then she saw the front door open and her blood ran cold. A tall man with sandy blonde hair stepped inside, shaking snow from his coat. He was attractive, well-dressed, and clearly comfortable in social situations. He scanned the room until his eyes landed on Nathan, and his face broke into a huge smile. Nathan Pierce. I cannot believe it. The man crossed the room quickly, pulling Nathan into a bear hug. I have been calling you for weeks. What are you doing in Chicago? I thought you would be in Boston with your family. Nathan's face had gone pale. Tyler. What are you doing here? The Hawthorns invited me. I am staying with Mitchell for the holidays. He is an old law school buddy. Tyler Grant turned and seemed to notice Olivia for the first time. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt. I am Tyler Grant, Nathan's friend from college. Olivia stepped forward, trying to maintain her composure even as confusion swirled through her. Olivia Bennett. This is my family's party. Tyler's eyes lit with recognition and something else. Concern, maybe. Or pity. Bennett. Wait, are you two here together? The way he asked the question, loaded with surprise and what sounded like warning, made Olivia's stomach drop. Nathan looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. We are, Nathan said tightly. Dating. Tyler's eyebrows shot up. Dating? But Nathan, what about? Can I talk to you? Nathan interrupted sharply, gripping Tyler's arm. Outside. Now. As Nathan practically dragged his friend toward the terrace, Olivia stood frozen. Her mother appeared at her elbow, watching the scene with interest. Who was that? Catherine asked. A friend of Nathan's, apparently. Olivia's voice sounded distant to her own ears. But what had Tyler been about to say? What about who? What about what? Through the glass doors, Olivia could see Nathan and Tyler in what appeared to be an intense conversation. Tyler kept gesturing, his expression serious. Nathan ran his hands through his hair, a gesture Olivia had learned meant he was stressed. Jealousy, sharp and unexpected, sliced through her. Not because of Tyler, but because clearly there was something about Nathan's life she did not know. Something important enough that the mention of it had made all the color drain from his face. She had thought she knew him. They had spent hours together over the past weeks, sharing stories and building their fictional romance. But watching him now, agitated and defensive with his old friend, Olivia realized there were parts of Nathan Pierce she had never seen. And the worst part was discovering how much it hurt to be kept in the dark. Fractured illusions. Olivia watched through the frosted glass as Nathan and Tyler continued their heated discussion on the terrace. Her hands gripped her champagne flute so tightly she worried it might shatter. Around her, the party continued in its festive chaos, but she felt separated from it all by an invisible wall of confusion and hurt. Her cousin Jennifer appeared beside her, following her gaze. Everything okay? Your boyfriend looks pretty intense out there. Everything is fine, Olivia lied, forcing a smile. Just catching up with an old friend. But nothing felt fine. The magical evening they had been sharing, the kiss that had made her question everything she thought she knew about their arrangement, now felt tainted by whatever secret Nathan was keeping. After what felt like an eternity, the terrace door opened. Nathan stepped back inside alone, his jaw set and his eyes troubled. He scanned the room until he found Olivia, and the expression on his face made her chest ache. He looked lost. Tyler followed moments later, heading straight for the bar without glancing in their direction. Whatever had been said between them, it clearly had not gone well. Confrontation in the garden. Nathan crossed to Olivia, his hand reaching for hers out of habit. She let him take it, but her fingers remained stiff in his grasp. Can we talk? he asked quietly. Somewhere private? Olivia nodded, setting down her champagne. She led him through the kitchen and out the back door into her mother's winter garden. Fairy lights twinkled in the bare branches overhead, and their breath formed clouds in the cold air. Who is she? The question escaped before Olivia could stop it. The moment Tyler had looked shocked about them dating, her mind had jumped to the most logical conclusion. There was another woman. Someone Nathan had not mentioned during all their preparation and rehearsal. Nathan looked genuinely confused. She? Olivia, there is no she. There is no one else. Then what was that about? Tyler looked at you like you were making a huge mistake. What was he going to say before you cut him off? Olivia heard the emotion creeping into her voice and hated it. She had no right to be this upset. They were not really together. Except it had started to feel real. And that realization terrified her. Nathan exhaled slowly, his breath visible in the frigid air. Tyler knows about my past. About why I moved to Chicago 2 years ago. I thought you moved here for the job opportunity. That was part of it. Nathan leaned against the garden wall, looking up at the star-scattered sky. But mostly I moved to get away from Boston. From memories. From a life that fell apart. Olivia waited, giving him space to continue. The fairy lights cast shadows across his face, making him look vulnerable in a way she had never seen before. 3 years ago, I was engaged, Nathan said finally. Her name was Rebecca. We had been together since college, and I thought she was my forever. We had the venue booked, invitations printed, the whole thing planned. The words hit Olivia like a physical blow. Not because he had been engaged, but because he had never mentioned it. During all their conversations, all their shared stories about failed relationships and family pressure, he had never said a word about a woman he had almost married. What happened? Olivia asked softly. The story unfolds. Nathan's hands clenched at his sides. 6 weeks before the wedding, I came home early from a site visit. I found her with someone else. My best friend from architecture school, actually. They had been seeing each other for months. Nathan, I am so sorry. The worst part was not just the betrayal, Nathan continued, his voice rough with old pain. It was realizing I had been so focused on building my career, on creating the perfect life, that I had completely missed the signs. Everyone else knew. Tyler knew. My family knew. They all saw that Rebecca and I were not really connected anymore, but I was too busy to notice. He finally looked at Olivia, and the raw emotion in his eyes made her breath catch. After it ended, I threw myself even harder into work. I took the Chicago position because it was far away from everyone who had watched me fail. I told myself I was better off alone, that relationships were a distraction I could not afford. Until I asked you to be my fake boyfriend, Olivia said, understanding dawning. Nathan pushed off from the wall, closing the distance between them. When you first suggested this arrangement, I thought it was perfect. A relationship with clear boundaries and an expiration date. No real risk, no real vulnerability. Just two friends helping each other out. And now? Olivia whispered. The truth between them. Now I have spent 3 weeks getting to know you in ways I never did during our casual friendship. Now I have learned that you sing off-key to Christmas music when you think no one is listening. That you cry at sentimental commercials but try to hide it. That you take your coffee with too much sugar and have strong opinions about the correct way to wrap presents. Nathan reached up, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was achingly tender. Now I have kissed you under that mistletoe, and it was not remotely fake for me. And that terrifies me because I swore I would never let myself feel this way about anyone again. Olivia's heart hammered so hard she was certain he could hear it. What are you saying? I am saying Tyler looked shocked because he knows I have spent 2 years avoiding any real emotional connection. He knows I have been hiding behind work and casual friendships. And seeing me here, supposedly in a relationship, probably worried him that I was setting myself up to get hurt again. But this is fake, Olivia said, even as the words felt like a lie. We agreed this was just for tonight. Nathan's laugh was bitter and sad. Is it though? Because I have been lying to myself, Olivia. This stopped being fake for me somewhere between our second rehearsal dinner and tonight. Maybe it was never fake at all. Olivia's realization. The confession hung in the cold air between them. Olivia felt like she was standing on the edge of a cliff, one step away from either flying or falling. I was jealous, she admitted suddenly. When Tyler walked in and I thought there might be someone else, I felt like my heart was being ripped out. And I had no right to feel that way because this is supposed to be pretend. She stepped closer to Nathan, her hands coming to rest on his chest. But somewhere along the way, I started looking forward to our planning sessions more than anything else in my week. I started noticing how you always bring me coffee exactly how I like it. How you listen when I talk about my work like it is the most fascinating thing in the world. Olivia, Nathan breathed her name like a prayer. I think I have been falling for you, Nathan Pierce. The real you, not the fake boyfriend version. And that scares me too because what if this falls apart? What if we ruin our friendship? What if? He kissed her, cutting off her spiraling thoughts. This kiss was different from the one under the mistletoe. That had been passionate but confused, tangled up in performance and pretense. This kiss was honest. A declaration without words. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Nathan rested his forehead against hers. What if it does not fall apart? What if this is real and right and exactly what we both need? Tyler's blessing. I think my friend would tell you to give it a chance. They both turned to find Tyler standing in the garden doorway, holding 2 cups of hot cocoa. He walked over, handing one to each of them with an apologetic smile. I am sorry for causing drama, Tyler said. I was just surprised because Nathan has been so closed off since Rebecca. Seeing him here with you, I panicked thinking he was forcing himself into something just to please other people. And now? Nathan asked. Tyler looked between them, taking in their linked hands and the obvious emotion on both their faces. Now I can see I was completely wrong. The way you two look at each other is nothing like how he looked at Rebecca. This is real. He clapped Nathan on the shoulder. She destroyed you, man. But maybe it was so you could find something better. Someone who actually sees you. After Tyler left, Olivia and Nathan stood together in the winter garden, processing everything that had been revealed. The party sounds drifted from the house, but they remained cocooned in their private world. A new beginning. So what happens now? Olivia asked. We were supposed to fake break up in January. Nathan smiled, that slow, devastating smile that made her knees weak. How about we actually date instead? Real dates, real relationship, real feelings. No more pretending. My mother is going to be insufferable when she finds out this was all initially fake, Olivia warned. We do not have to tell her it started that way. As far as anyone knows, we have been together for 3 months. That part can stay true. Nathan pulled her close, wrapping his arms around her. Everything from this moment forward is completely real. Olivia tilted her face up to his. I can work with that. They kissed again, sweet and unhurried, as snow began to fall around them. Through the windows, the Christmas party continued, full of light and laughter and family. But Olivia was exactly where she wanted to be. When they finally returned inside, hand in hand and glowing with happiness, Catherine took one look at them and smiled knowingly. I knew it, she whispered to Olivia later. I knew from the moment you walked in together. The way he looks at you, darling. That is not something you can fake. Olivia just smiled, squeezing Nathan's hand. Her mother was right, though not in the way she thought. What had started as an elaborate pretense to escape family pressure had transformed into something genuine and precious. Epilogue, 1 year later. The following Christmas Eve, Olivia and Nathan returned to the Bennett estate. This time, there was no pretense, no carefully rehearsed stories. Just two people deeply in love, celebrating with family. As they stood under the same mistletoe where they had shared their first real kiss, Nathan pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. "Last year, I came here pretending to be your boyfriend," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "This year, I want to ask you to let me be your husband. For real, forever, no acting required." Through happy tears, Olivia said yes. Around them, the family erupted in cheers and applause. Catherine cried and hugged them both, declaring she had known all along they were meant to be. Tyler, who had been invited to the party as a genuine guest this year, raised his glass in a toast. To Nathan and Olivia. May your love story continue to be as unexpected and beautiful as it began. As Nathan slipped the ring on her finger, Olivia thought about how strange life could be. She had been so focused on escaping her family's matchmaking that she had nearly missed the real thing when it appeared. Sometimes the best relationships started in the most unconventional ways. And sometimes, fake dating was just the beginning of a very real happily ever after. The end.